We're going to talk a little bit about what it means to be a defendant and file your alibi list late. Will it make a difference? Did it change anything? All I can think about are the people. And will they turn against her? There's a perfect person to weigh in on this and walk me through the navigation. It's Jessica Bublitz. She's a criminal defense attorney practicing in the state of Idaho. Jessica, I know that you probably read through these court filings. Let's leave the minutia stuff, you're late with your deadline in the filing and let's cure this and what's the curative to that. I just want to know what your impressions are when you saw the list of friends and family and former cult members who are now on the state's prosecution alibi list. What are your thoughts?
Right. That was interesting, Ashleigh. Thank you for having me. As you know, 2 of the witnesses that she listed on her notice of alibi are also included in the state's witness in their response to the notice of alibi, saying that, no, in fact, we have witnesses that may tend to show that you are incorrect in where you say you were at the time of the killings, and that we can refute that somehow. And those 2 are David Warwick and Melanie Gibb, as you noted, friends of hers. So we don't really know what the individuals on this list might have to say exactly. I thought what was also really interesting, though, about their response, not just the fact that they noted that it was really late, they said it's irrelevant to an extent because their case really isn't built around putting her at a specific time and place anyway. They're saying their case is about her conspiring to commit these murders or aiding and abetting to commit these murders, being a principal. That's what they mean when they say principal. So in fact, they're not necessarily saying we are going to prove, or that we are going to have to prove, that Lori was where and when the killings took place, because their case is going to be about presenting evidence of an agreement that she was involved in with Alex Cox and with Chad Daybell. Those are the 2 other conspirators on the jury instructions. And they are going to be claiming that she agreed with them to commit these murders.
Well,
so what was interesting? Yeah.
Before you go on, though, because you just tossed out 3 names, and we got to talk about that. So Chad Daybell, Alex Cox, and Lori Vallow are in this alleged conspiracy, and one of them can't really help us, and that would be the dead Alex Cox, her brother, who is known as the family hitman. So can I just ask you, is that just the worst circumstance for prosecutors? Because they basically have 2 people, Lori and Chad, who can both point the finger at dead Alex and think, well, gosh, shouldn't you prosecute him? Oops, can't. But it isn't us.
Right. I'm sure they both will. Absolutely. But I think also Chad may be pointing the finger to an extent at Lori. And we've heard in previous court hearings where he has said that he has statements she has made that he intends to introduce when he wanted their trials separated.
What? Jessica, you and I can we talk, as Joan Rivers would always say, like he is totally going to throw her under the bus. Are you kidding me?
Yes,
he's probably going to face death. Right? He didn't get the free pass from the firing squad potentially in Idaho now. So he is totally going to throw her under the bus. And I will just be on the record on that. I don't think there's any love lost once it's like life or death. So my other question is, and for this we have to throw up the list. Let's just throw up that list. It went by very quickly, but I want to see it more clearly of those people and those alibi witnesses that the prosecutors are going to call. Melanie Gibb, her friend from Arizona, who was like, you're joking me that you asked me to lie for you and they get me in trouble with the police. She's already turned on her and testified about her. But that next one, Melanie Pawlowski, is her Melanice. I mean, it is her niece, Melanie Boudreau Pawlowski, who was in the cult with her. This one shocks me. David Warwick, who's Melanie Gibbs' boyfriend, now husband. Are those 3 expected to turn on her, or do you expect, Jessica, that they may be hostile witnesses?
I absolutely think they're going to turn on her. I think Melanie Gibb realized, as you know, with the phone call, this is the big lie, right? She's the one who was called when Lori was originally trying to lie and say that JJ was in fact alive. She claimed it was with she claimed that her child was with Melanie Gibb. And so Melanie Gibb is involved in that big lie. And then Melanie Gibb turned on her and recorded a conversation with her that she turned over to the police, where it became apparent that Lori knew her child was not with Melanie Gibb as she had claimed.
Yeah.
So she already turned on her.
I still look at the Melanie Boudreau. I look at the Boudreau-Pulowski, and I think that's your niece. That is your fellow cultist. That is someone who left her 4 children and moved to Rexburg and married a guy within weeks so that she could be one of the 144 saved. And she is on that list. She, up until now, has not been turncoat. But, man, I cannot wait for that moment when Melanie Pulowski, formerly Melanie Boudreau, gets up on that stand. I guess you could say all's fair in love, war, and religion. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.